Hello, my name is Charles Upton, and I want to start by saying that the title of this video, Alex Jones Learn Metaphysics, is partly tongue-in-cheek and actually partly opportunistic as well. And yet, it does have a meaning to it because, Alex Jones is doing a wonderful job in a lot of ways, bringing information to us that we all should be listening to, whether or not we believe all of it. You can't believe all of everything, of anything, but I'm very glad he's doing what he's doing. But, in his process of evolution, I've seen him come to a couple of interesting points. He would very often say, we got the empire's on the run, and we're winning, and then at one point I heard him say, hey, we can't do this ourselves. We're going to have to pray. Only God can take care of this mess that we're in. And I got to that point. I was very impressed by what he said. I mean, that's coming to a true moment. And once you get to that moment, you start to ask yourself, what's behind the endless evil that's coming upon this world from every direction that you can see? It's relentless. And people who want to simplify it and put it all down to, it's all the Masons, it's all the Illuminati, so definitely these people probably play a role, or it's all the Jews, or it's all, the liberals, or the communists, or the fascists, or whatever. This isn't enough. And if you really want, in my opinion, if you really want to see what's going on in the darkness of this world, you have to have an understanding of metaphysics. And by metaphysics, I mean not, what you'll find in the metaphysical section of many of your bookstores, which, anomalous events, witchcraft, magic, UFOs, It's simply mystical philosophy that has been at the essence of every world religion. I'm not talking about Carlos Castaneda. I'm talking about Plato and Aristotle, and Ibn Arabi and Shankara and the great sages of our tradition, and Augustine. These people. So I did quite a study of this. I've studied comparative religion and metaphysics most of my life, and this study reached a higher level when I found the writers of the traditionalist or perennialist school, René Guénon, Fritjof Schuon, Ananda Kumaraswamy, and their various colleagues and followers, who really concentrated this kind of material and made it more available and more, I knew a guy once that said, God, Fritjof Schuon wrote the crib notes to metaphysics. In a certain sense, that's true. But after that, those studies were complete. Then you see, my wife Jenny is the one who gets me involved in this. She found the traditionalists first off, and then she got me reading them. And then after she'd finished with them, she went on to listening to Alex Jones and a lot of other people on the computer, And together we came to an understanding that the people we knew in the world of metaphysics, no matter how profound they were in that field, didn't understand what was going on in the world very well. And since we both had a background in peace activism, there was part of us that could certainly say, well, let's figure out what's going on in the world right now. This is part of knowledge, and so it's important. So we did, and so I wrote a book. This is all just one big ad, see? And it's an ad for this book that I just published. It's called, you see that there? It's called Vectors of the Counter-Initiation, The Course and Destiny of Inverted Spirituality. I love that cover. That's Gustave Doré's engraving of the Tower of Babel. See? And basically the genesis of this book was trying to bring together what I knew from my metaphysical studies and what I was learning from people like Alex Jones. Metaphysical understanding and what is, for better or worse, called conspiracy theory. And I think when I brought them together, a very interesting thing happened, because the conspiracy theorists filled in a lot of the blanks left by the metaphysicians, and actually, addressed a lot of their blind spots in places where they, without realizing it, can get co-opted by the powers that be without meaning to. And at the same time, metaphysics provided a context that would show, the actual size and meaning of all this evil and all this, attempt at world domination and mind control, whatever you want to call it, that is coming down the pike every day. So each of these, schools or each of these, perspectives was able to illuminate and criticize the other. And so I think I did a good job of that in that book, 360-some pages. So, and what you come to is, when you, look at what's happening in terms of the evil of the world, in terms of metaphysics, one thing you reach is eschatology, like we are in the end times. Now, it doesn't mean that the world is going to end tomorrow, although it certainly could. Just this is the quality of our time. This could go on for centuries. But we are in the time when everything falls apart, when, like W.B. Yeats says, things fall apart, the center cannot hold, mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. Well, it's worse than mere anarchy. It's getting organized. It's organized evil, not just anarchy. So that's one way that metaphysics can help you, provide you the larger context for whatever your research is in terms of conspiracy or the actions of evil and powerful men and women will turn up. So, and the guy, let me get this book again, the guy who really, the great conspiracy theorist was René Guénon, who invented something called, or saw something called the counter-initiation, which is an organized attempt at that time of secret societies to pervert all the world's religions and even the esoteric centers of these religions, like Kabbalah in Judaism, Sufism in Islam. And in our time, these guys have come out of the closet and are much more visible. And, if you check out what the State Department and the globalist think tanks are involved in, and the globalist organizations, you will see their very clear footprint of these people. So, I'm just going to quickly go down the chapters here. And, and I will continue this in other episodes. So, this is the chapter titles. Introduction, what is the counter-initiation? Vigilance in the interfaith arena, very important. Traditional versus counter-traditional perspectives on the divine feminine and the sacredness of nature. Magic and tasawwuf, which is Sufism. Magic and Sufism, I claim they're incompatible totally. The fall of the jinn. UFOs, mass mind control, and the awliya al-shaitan, who are the Satanist contemplatives, the saints of Satan. This is a continuation of my book, Cracks in the Great Wall, UFOs and Traditional Metaphysics. The real Rumi, about this Rumi industry that's come down the pike. A chink in the perennialist armor in uncertainty as to the principial unity of knowledge and love. Now, that's just for metaphysicians alone, although anybody can read it if you want to try. Drug-induced mysticism revisited. Interview with Charles Upton conducted by Samuel Bendix-Sotios. Did he turn up a lot of interesting stuff about the history of the psychedelic so-called revolution? Then Corruptio Optimi Pessima, the Templars, the Freemasons, and the counter-initiation. I think I got deeper than an awful lot of people, and maybe anybody, into Freemasonic and Templar origins. I think they were both legitimate, true spiritual organizations that got corrupted and went over to the dark side at one point. Then the fall of Lucifer, a synthesis of emanationist and volitional theodicy. I'm sure that will be very popular chapter. Luciferian transhumanism and the war against religion. This is probably the most evil thing that's happening in the world right now. And then I've got an appendix, Review of False Dawn by Lee Penn, which is a great book on the dark side of the interfaith movement. Everybody should get that. This was written by a friend of ours, Rama P. Kumaraswamy, who passed away a few years ago. Then the December 12th, 2012 Mayan Apocalypse as a Social Engineering Event. you better believe it. Letter to Henry Mackau, Renouncing the World, and then 2 poems and an afterword. Well, that's this book. So, there it is again, and you'll find some of these same themes in other videos which are soon to appear. And so, if you want to continue listening to what's in this book, check those out. Good to see you again. Good to see you again.